Hello and welcome everybody to the First Parents platform. Today we have a very interesting topic to discuss, but before that, I want to ask you all a question, right? Don't you all find those musical poetries and musical lyricals from Coco Melon and Super Simple quite appealing? The wheels on the bus and one little finger. Yes, obviously, it is quite appealing. But do you know that it has a great impact on your child's development of language and communication skills? Yes, screen time is a very big reason for delay in communication, delays, and speech delays. And that is why today we have a topic to discuss with you is impact of screen time on child's development and communication skill. So today I want to welcome today's speaker, guest, host, Vaishnavi. She's here. I'll help her join in. Hi
Hi,
Vaishnavi. How are
how are
you?
you?
Good, good. Thank you
Uh,
and welcome to the platform. Just give me a moment to introduce you to all our viewers. So, guys, this is Vaishnavi, who's a master in speech language pathology. She's the founder of Andhadi Rehab online consultancy and a teletherapy service. She has years of experience in helping families in communication and swallowing journey. And she's very passionate about sharing her awareness in social media platforms. And that is why she's joining us today to discuss the impact of screen time, right? In young children's, and that has increased a way lot. All those cocoa melons and super simple poems which we see on YouTube may sound very appealing, but it leaves a very bad impact on children, and so much so it leaves on us also. We are rhyming those the full day, and obviously we are making an impact on the observation power of the children. So welcome, Vaishnavi. I think I lost her. I think we have some network issues. Yes.
yeah,
Welcome.
can you hear
So,
me?
yes, I can hear you now. There was a disturbance earlier, but yes, it's fine. So, I
Yes.
have my first question without wasting any time. Obviously, there is an impact on screen time on child's development, but how does excessive screen time affect a child's ability to develop language and communication skill? Is my first question to you.
All right. So again, as you have rightly mentioned, excessive screen time is what is causing lack of interaction, and it lacks the opportunities for the children to listen to other humans and possibly join the conversation. So in today's world, recommending zero screen time everybody can do, but is it possible? Not at
Yeah.
all. So, if I just say, please don't show any screens to your child, it doesn't sound practical here. So, in today's world, screen times are, active part of our lifestyle itself.
Yes.
So, what is recommended is to not to show it excessively. And if the child is left alone watching the screens for hours together, because in our clinic, in our practice, when we see children with speech delays, definitely 95% of the children, they there is a correlation between their screen time as well. They have like 5 hours to 8 hours of screen time per day, so which is like very alarming numbers, right? So the one thing we have to keep in check is definitely the duration which they are watching screen time per day. And the second thing is, if they are watching it alone and if they're just manipulating their device on their own for hours together, so that is definitely a red flag that we have to check about.
Okay. So, I have a cross question here. I just want to understand. Obviously, no screen time is impossible, but do you have any thing to share on the age of the children where we can do no screen time, and then after a certain age, a little bit of screen time is okay?
Yes, yes. So there are clear-cut guidelines by WHO and lot of other pediatric organizations around the world. So we say at least till 18 months of age, definitely no screen time at all. So maximum, if it's great if it's till 2 years of age, but at least till 18 months, no screen time at all. Absolutely. So that is what is recommended. And the only kind of screen time which is recommended between these ages is having a video call. So if they are video calling their grandparents or their aunts, that is fine because it is live, and there is an actual person sitting over on the other side responding to your questions, talking with you. So here the screens are not like it's not animated, it's not flashy colors, it's not very jarring sounds, and they're actually talking to another person who's on the other side far away, probably, right? So the only kind of screen time which is allowed between the ages 0 to 2 years is having a video conversation. Otherwise, 0 to 2 years strictly it's not advisable. And after 2 to 5 years, the recommended hours of screen time per day would be like 1 hour.
Okay.
So this 1 hour also is not recommended at a stretch. So 3 to 4 p.m. you'll watch whatever you want. No. So probably 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. So likewise you can split it according to your own routine and lifestyle. So 1 hour per day maximum. If it's lesser, great. So maximum would be 1 hour. And it is also recommended that they don't use phones or tablets as devices, and you can replace it with TV instead. TV or laptop is better because they're not carrying it with them wherever they go, or they are not manipulating it literally. So in phone, what happens? They probably see a video for 2 to 3 seconds and then they scroll. Next, next, next. So the attention span gets really affected because of this. So the recommended device would be TV and laptop.
Okay. So I have another question here.
Sure.
It's a personal experience that a friend had come over. The child doesn't want to eat without the TV. I also visited my mom's place. My nephew didn't
Yeah.
want to eat his lunch, breakfast, dinner without watching musical poems like
Exactly.
Cocomelon. He wanted Cocomelon, and exactly what you said. He wants the phone and he wants to scroll it. And if he doesn't want, he'll pull somebody's hand and he'll ask the person to scroll it. And so much so that right now he's not. I think he's 1.5, almost going to turn 2. But he's not speaking. He knows how to speak. There's no problem with his vocal cords and everything. He speaks the words. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. He only tells words which he wants to, and otherwise, no, he'll try to make his things done through action. He'll point
Mm.
it out and in fact, so much so, whoever is near the person, like near him or her, he'll try
Yeah.
to put her hand or his and make them scroll the screen to watch, whatever
They want.
interests him. So, how about mealtime screen times? So it's become
So
a point. Again, there's so many picky children and we are unable to avoid so many. So, again,
yes. So again, yes, of course, mealtime screen time is a no-no, because children usually they pick up their behaviors, their habits only from adults around. If we are saying mealtime screen time is no-no for you, I shouldn't be the one watching Hotstar and eating my meal.
exactly.
So that is the first step we'll have to start inculcating. We shouldn't watch screens or TV shows while having our breakfast, dinner, and lunch. So that is one advice I would give for parents. So the changed outcome or the changed behavior must start from the family itself and not from the child. So that would be the first point. And the second point would be if the child is very used to it already, what they can do is maybe they can start with one meal per day without screens. If they are used to it, they have been following it for like 3 years or 4 years. Suddenly you can't be like, no, we'll just cut. We can't do that. It can't happen. So maybe we can lessen the duration. We can try to lessen the duration, or we can try to use the strategy called one meal per day without screens in the beginning. Or what they can do is they can set up like a timer. So 5 minutes, no screens. After this, I will put on you something. So 5 minutes, you just have something. After this 5 minutes timer gets down, I'll just put on something. So slowly try to lengthen this time to 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and probably the meal time gets covered within it. Yes. So mealtime screen time is no, because they don't know what they are eating. They don't know how much they are eating. They really can't truly appreciate, the taste, texture, and everything. If they are full, if they are not, if they want more, all these they are missing out. And, mealtime dinner conversations, participating in that, all those are getting missed out because they are just replacing it with another engaging activity, which is screens, right? Yeah.
Also, so much so that, Vaishnavi, I've seen a very huge shift of mealtime screen time in very young children who are less than 2 years. Like
True.
children who've just started eating solids, right? With them, we've seen this shift, and that shift is bizarre because, we've seen in so many hotels, restaurants where we've gone for dinner, and we see people next to the table that, obviously they are giving screen time to the children so that they can also eat well. The children is well settled and everything. So how can we, do you think there are tips to manage this?
So I'm honestly not worried about the occasional screen times. Like the examples you've quoted, like when the child is really cranky and there is this huge family get together and they want to just replace it with screens. Meanwhile, so that they could interact with others, that is fine. But
Fine.
when it becomes a habit, that's
Yeah.
what I'm worried about. When the screen time comes into the house during the meals, that's what I'm worried about. So again, to reduce the screen time, we can use these timers or any other. Probably we can start with any audio gadgets like Alexa. So
Okay.
the gadgets are not totally gone, but they're partially gone.
Yeah.
At
It's
least
just
you're
audio.
you know
Yeah.
yeah, at least you're just listening to some music and having just replace it with some other gadget for a while and slowly fade away, try to fade away, because that's what is recommended. Meal times should be like interactional, social, and they should know what goes on in their plate, what they are eating and everything, right? So it should be mindful eating comes only if there are no gadgets.
I think, to sum it up, we should go back to our roots and remove the gadget called TV from our dining tables.
Yes, yes, especially from dining tables and
Yeah.
eating from the living room.
Yeah.
So we should just go to the dining room and dining table and have our meals over there. When we take the plates and come to the living room, then it's gone.
It's gone.
We are
It's
going to switch on the TV and we're going to watch something
yeah.
while we munch.
Okay, so my next question is what are some signs that parents could watch out for indicating that the child's speech development might be influenced by screen time? Okay, we know that because of screen time it is getting influenced, but what are the signs that the parents should look out for or the family should look out for and be aware, okay, now this is the time to get the gadgets away and get them faded away in a dispatch.
So the first things to be aware would be the speech and language milestones itself. So at what age, how much the child should be speaking or how well the child should be communicating, that the parent should be aware of. So I would say below 1 year, at least between like 9 months to 1 year, the child should be communicating using some form of gestures, eye contact, smile, giving high five, saying namaste in actions. All those would have emerged below 1 year itself. Responding to name call, all these are signs. If these are not there, we'll have to work about it. Between 1 year to 1.5 years, the child should have started speaking a lot of nouns around. So saying mummy, daddy, ball, bicky for biscuit, or bow bow for doggy. All those naming objects they would have start naming. So these are the speech milestones I'm looking for. And around 2 years, the child should have started speaking in two-word combinations, saying "mommy come," "mommy go," "throw ball," "give ball." All those
Okay.
combinations of words should have emerged. If these word combinations, or if there is no eye contact, if the child is not responding to the name call, and if the child is not paying attention to you, if you are talking and the child is not attending to you at all, so these are the signs I would say, consult a professional immediately, because I recommend below 2 years, everybody, all the children should undergo one screening at least, because that's when we can just catch the early identification happens only when the all children are screened.
Yes.
Otherwise what happens, parents might think he'll speak later, and they delay the diagnosis process itself. So it's recommended for all children to undergo just one screening below 2 years, especially between 18 months to 24 months. I recommend at least one time speech and language evaluation. Yeah, so that would be like we come to know about what are the pointers to look in, how to play, how to modify the play, how do we talk while, interacting with our children, and so on.
So, Vaishnavi, tell me one thing that okay, there are a lot of different kind of screen activities or screen dramas or screen poems or repos which are going on on over the social media, right? So, what do you think are the types of screen activities that they are more harmful or beneficial when it comes to their development? And
Mm-hmm.
should parents encourage them or limit them? What should they do?
Yes. So the type of content is the main key role, I would say. So the type of content, as in if the child is only being exposed to all these animations, very very colorful, all those kind of screens, those are not recommended. If the child is just watching like other humans, so one child is eating something, one child is playing on the swing, and if this child is watching videos of them, which is better? Yeah, so
Okay.
watching videos of actual humans, actual other babies, because children like seeing other babies. So you
Yes.
can just play a video of baby dancing, baby singing something, baby saying some slogans, baby drawing something. All those videos are also readily available on YouTube,
Yes, they
right?
are.
So those kind of content is recommended, and I would say if the child is only watching short form content like reels and YouTube shorts, those are not recommended for children, because it obviously just shortens their attention span into very very minimal. So try to switch it to a longer form content. Yeah, like you can play a 5 minute video or a 7 minute video and let them watch it. That is fine, that is better rather than watching the short form content, right? So these are the definite two modifications they can make. And there is something called interactive screen time. So interactive screen time means when I touch on the screen, when I do something, the screen does something for me. For example, like when I play Candy Crush or when I play Temple Run,
Yeah.
I keep doing this action and the guy keeps running faster. So this type of screen time is called interactive screen time, where I do something and the screen does something for me. So I
Yes.
just do this and the colors all, come into place,
Yeah.
all these things. So these interactive screen time does more harm to the eyes. It is more strainful to the eyes, and it is definitely not recommended to, indulge in interactive screen time just before sleep. At least 2 hours before the sleeping time, they should just wind off this kind of screen time. Just passively watching a movie, just passively watching a video is much better than playing Candy Crush, playing Temple Run, all these interactive ones.
So basically, you want the kids to avoid the games which just come to the phones.
Yeah, with all these, splashy colors and everything.
I want to ask one question here since you mentioned interactive screen time. We like it or not, these interactive screen time have games, have educational videos, have educational apps also. You do
Exactly.
something and you learn maths, and you have that something called Smigo or Migo, which helps you do maths and alphabets and language and words.
Yeah.
Placed the traditional method of language social media.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think? Um, is it a good shift? Because as much as we say everything is digital, and those in traditional methods have also turned digital. So, do you have anything to share here?
Yes, yes. So screen time largely focuses on these kind of content, saying ABCs, one, two, three, saying the rhymes and all these academic form of content. So academic form of content is okay, good. But what I'm more concerned is if the child is able to use it anywhere practically. So, for example, if the child is watching a counting video and the child is able to say 1 to 10, great. But will the child be able to count if I give him three chocolates and ask him how many chocolates are here?
Yeah,
If he is able to apply it, that is what I'm concerned about. And
yeah,
secondly, communication comes much before academic skills. So if the child is able to take turns and talk, take turns and interact, ask me questions, answer to my questions, is the child able to narrate a small event which happened yesterday? I went to the beach yesterday, I saw the horse, it was very lovely. If the child is able to say in simple sentences what happened, what were the highlights, and also if the child is watching academic content, I'm okay with it. But if the child is not able to communicate, if the child is not able to ask for his needs, ask communicate his emotions and intentions, then if the child is saying A to Z, the child is saying 1 to 100, is not making any sense for me, right? The child must be first be able to communicate, ask questions, answer to questions. All these takes the first place. The child must be able to say, I'm hungry, I want roti, give me one roti, I don't want. So all these in baby talk forms, obviously.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is what is the precursor for the academic skills or school readiness and all the other
All
skills.
the milestones. So,
Yes.
Vaishnavi, I want to ask one question here, right? There's so much content over there on social media, be it games, be it rhymes, be it education, even if you're doing educational videos or education apps or interactive apps, ultimately you're getting used to the entire concept. And then it becomes very difficult to let the child differentiate from the educational ones and, the temple run and the cocoa melons and everything, right? As much as children love Doraemon, Kota Bheem, you can't stop them. And after a point of time, how much ever you try to inculcate good aspect of educational and nice videos, they run towards it. That's human nature, right? So
Yes.
it it wo- it ultimately affects the dopamine level and oxytocin, right? Because you're so much pain and the blue rays and everything, right? um
True.
so is it really necessary to um make the child learn from the educational apps also, or we should actually stick to the traditional wooden toys methods of counting and learning?
My recommendation would be, obviously to reduce or minimize and probably not use if, if that's the case, if that's possible, right? So,
Right
yeah,
now.
especially for children below 3 years, I don't think it's necessary. Maybe
Yes.
probably after 3 years, maybe they're inculcating in some kind of, activity-based screen time. Even so, they can limit it, but it's okay. But below 3 years, I don't think it's recommended. I don't think it's necessary at all. So the children, in order to learn, they need other humans. They should see other humans interact. They should get some peer support. They must be able to observe and learn from other peer group, their siblings or their cousins or whatever source available. So all those interactions are much better and helpful rather than these kind of educational mediums.
I have one more question to ask here, right?
Sure.
Education has this bar, okay? Everybody wants their child to do well. And
Yes.
ultimately, to learn all those, numbers and all those alphabets, all those phonics in school. So why can't we just avoid it and let the child engage in playing activity? Because ultimately that is also a growing development milestone, and they're going to learn a lot of playing as well, right? As
Yes,
much as education is important, I firmly believe that play is also equally
play
important.
is the key. Yeah, play is the key for all the skills development. Say, gross motor, fine motor, social development, speech development, cognitive development, everything comes with play only. So
Yes.
play is the ultimate form of, inculcating all the development together. So I am a big fan of, unstructured free
Same.
play. So,
Yeah.
in free play only the children learn so much. There is space for creativity. There is space for their own inputs, right? So rather than, putting them into a structured play this way or do this way, that is not fun for the child, I believe. So when we are just, setting up some kind of environment and we are just monitoring, they will show us very, creative and interactive ways of play on their own. Play is very intuitive and play is very natural for children, that nobody has to teach them how to play.
So actually, thank you so much, Vaishnavi, for answering this, because I totally believe that in today's world of parenting, we have started micromanaging our children so much that we structure their play. If we're giving them a book to draw, we're telling them do this. Maybe our pattern of thinking has been limited and they not, and we are somehow limiting their creative boundaries also. So thank you so much for validating this point for us.
Yes,
So
yes, of
I
course.
to ask, uh, what do you think are some practical strategies that parents, and not only parents, like a lot of parents nowadays don't stay with families, right? So they have
True.
caregivers and helps who help
Yes,
with the child's upbringing, so they can
yeah,
implement to ensure that screen time doesn't hinder but rather supports a child's speech and language skills. Because with a lot of working parents, both husband and wife working, there's a lot of time for caregivers, right? So what are some practical strategies or practical methods we can use, so that even if the parents are not at home and not using screen, we can help avoid the child being in front of screen, rather than if parents are not there, give the screen so the child is quiet.
yes, yes, yes. Definitely, few things to try would be, other than screens, what else can we do? So if we just focus on, no screens, no screens, no screens, we're not going anywhere. So we can try to replace screens with something else that will really work. For example, outdoor play, or if indoor play, we can inculcate in some kind of sensory play. So it doesn't mean we need some fancy equipments or any, like big fancy toys or anything like that. Just with the available stuff at home, just do some toy rotation, and we can come up with lot of things which can be done. So outdoor play is a really great idea. So if that is not an option, I would encourage to, do some indoor play, some sensory activities, some water play, sand play. All these are like very basic ones, which will nourish all of their components of development. Say, for example, fine motor, gross motor, and everything. So if you can replace it with these kind of things, great. Obviously there would be some kind of screens, right? So when they are left with no other options but to show screens, they can shift to a different gadget. As I said before, please don't use any kind of Bluetooth or anything like that. Try to minimize the number of gadgets usage altogether. Try to put it in TV or laptop if possible. So if they are, placed at a distance, and if they are seeing it, that is okay. And secondly, we can ask about what they saw. So they are, parents are working, and we understand that they can't be with the children all the time. So there is some scheduled amount of screen time for the child. Say, for example, 20 minutes of screen time every day, or one episode of so and so show. Okay, great. So after you're done with your work, just ask the child what happened in today's show, so that the child is not passively watching, and the child is not zoning out or just watching it for the comfort of watching it, but they're actually noting down what is going on in that particular episode. Because for the first time when you ask this question, the child won't have any answer. But when you keep doing it repeatedly, the child will know that, mama will ask me what happened today. I'll have to tell her. So I'm, just going to watch more keenly. So when you are co-watching also, you can comment about what's going on in the screens. So, Papa is eating spinach, whatever is going on in the screen, you can just explain in your own words, in your own language. And when we point out to such details and narrate, it is like a reminder for the child that, oh, it seems like I'll have to note down all these things. And when they are watching alone also, they eventually start doing it, right? So when there is a screen time and when we are talking about it after that, that becomes a interaction on its own, and that becomes a learning itself, right? So mama is asking about how your day went or how you spent your time, literally, right? So that is one way of encouraging conversations through screen time. Because for few children, for most children, but yeah, again, we work with a lot of autistic children and children who are under the neurodivergent category. So for them, screens are like way more attractive.
Yes.
For neurotypicals, it's different, but for autistics and neurodivergent, screens are like they literally learn a lot from screens, which is good. But how do I encourage those screens into conversations? How do I make it more fruitful, make it more concrete in their memory, in their learning system? So these are few tips and strategies which they can use it in their everyday life.
So, thank you so much, Vaishnavi, for this interesting conversation, because obviously, screen time, as much as it is required today, we cannot go away with it, has become the biggest obstacle for all the parents. They somehow not knowingly or subconsciously inculcate this habit, and then they try to get rid of it. And it's completely impossible to move that away, because we ourselves are surrounded by gadgets and screen and phones and reels all the time. We don't sleep hours before scrolling the screen on Instagram seeing reels, right? So here are some tips and tricks which Vaishnavi has shared with us, so that you can slowly fade away, or you can alternate them with some practical and some different methods of engagement activity for your child. For any speech or communication skill delay or language development delay, you can always reach out to us or Vaishnavi directly. She runs a platform on social media and helps a lot of families in language and swallowing difficulties. Thank you so much. It has been a lovely conversation. We're delighted to have you.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the wonderful questions. So I really enjoyed being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Vaishnavi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.